The year was 1992, and I'm a broke college student working evenings at American Express doing inbound telemarketing. Not the most glamorous of jobs, but I was poor, so I took what I could get. Being broke meant pushing my gas tank to its absolute limits almost every time. It mostly worked out for me, but one day when I'm on a back road headed to work, my crude calculations failed me. I get out of my car and use the technology available to me in 1992 to find the closest gas station, which is to look left and right and think, which way should I go? When a woman pulled up in a minivan, she asked me, did I need help? And I said, no, I'm fine. I just ran out of gas. I'm going to walk to the gas station. She said, I'll give you a ride. She had 2 small kids in the back. I said, no, really, I don't want to be a bother. I'll walk. She goes, no, you won't. This is not a safe road to walk on. Get in. Now, I was not yet a mother, but my oldest sister was. And if there's one thing I know about moms of small children is they're tired all the time. So I was betting that this woman did not have enough energy to murder me. So I got in. When we got back to my car, I thanked her profusely. I asked her to let me pay her for her trouble. She said no, which was perfect because I didn't really have money to give her. She said, though, if you were my kid, I would have wanted someone to help them. So I ask you, help someone someday. That's how you can pay me back. This was a few years before the Pay It Forward movie. I loved this idea, not just because it was potentially free. I promised her I would. The next week, I'm leaving work early because we were painfully slow. It's so early, it's still light outside. Before my ass hits the front seat of the car, I already have alternate plans for the evening. I'm going to go straight home and do absolutely nothing. Because doing nothing back then, those days were few and far between. I'm about a mile from work on this long straightaway when I see this feeble man kind of waving, trying to get someone to stop. Imagine like a tall cowboy, rugged type, but without the hat and without the truck. It was a compact 2-door car. And as I passed, I think, oh, poor guy. But I kept going because I was taught you don't pick people up on the side of the road. It's dangerous. Like you could pick up a Charles Manson type was what I was always taught. I looked in my rearview mirror and no one is stopping for him. And then that voice, help someone someday. It wasn't a 4-lane road or a heavily trafficked road. So I turned around because I figured I was his best chance at getting any help. He told me his car had broken down and he just needed a lift home. We quickly came to the conclusion that his house was on the route to my apartment. So I said, hop in. The guy looked to be in his 80s, so I thought if a fight breaks out, I'm pretty sure I can take him. But full disclosure, I was 20, so it is entirely possible that he was the age I am now, and I just thought he looked a lot older. After he got in my car, he tells me that he owns the gun range just past where I work. He says he's a champion shooter. This guy no longer looked easy to overtake. I didn't know I needed to frisk a guy before he got into my car. I'm not scared of guns just existing, but the thought of a guy carrying a concealed weapon in my car and me not knowing about it, that terrified me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a talker. But when I get scared, I get quiet. And I was very quiet, gripping my steering wheel. But he was super chatty. He told me that he had adult children that didn't live close by and he didn't see very often. I got the feeling they were just visit for the holiday kind of kid. He told me that his wife had recently died. And I'm counting the minutes until I can get this good deed out of my car. Because I'm pretty sure the mom that picked me up did not intend for me to put myself in a more dangerous situation than she saved me from. He thanked me repeatedly. He even said he wanted a picture of me so that he could show his friends and family the nice girl that helped him. Y'all, that was weird back then, because in 92, no one's carrying pictures of themselves around. It was about 20 minutes from where I picked him up to his house, and he talked the entire time. processing out loud, what could he do to pay me back? I said the same thing that woman said to me. Just do something for someone else one day. That's how you can pay me back. That was not good enough for him. He said, I got it. I know what I'm going to do. And I thought, let me live? Because I'd been thinking about his marksmanship, his dead wife, and all the things I'd learned in the news recently about the Jeffrey Dahmer case. A lot going around. We arrived at his house. He said, come in, I have something for you. I tried to quickly think of a reason to not go into the house. Excuse me. But even as a young girl, I learned that a safe way to be in the world is to diffuse. So I tried not to upset him as well. And the only way I felt I could do that was to comply. Today, Gloria is a little disappointed that back then Gloria didn't prioritize her safety over people-pleasing. I reluctantly followed him into the house. I don't remember much about it except this narrow staircase sitting in front of us, adjacent to the kitchen, and this faint, musty smell that old houses have. He took a couple of steps up and waved for me to follow him. And I did, thinking it was a terrible idea. But I rationalized it by saying, like, he's in front of me, he doesn't look like he can run fast, and unless he has chloroform in his pocket, I'm probably gonna be okay. At the top of the stairs was a door, and at the top of the door was a hinged padlock. I thought, this is definitely where I meet his dead wife. Because, like, what else is in a room like that, Norman Bates, besides a corpse? His hand shook as he tried to get the key into the hole, and then click, he got it. I took a step back, ready to run. And when he opened the door, all I saw was silver bowls and platters and chalices, wall-to-wall silver. He told me these were prizes he won in shooting competitions. He walked in proudly and said, choose anything, anything at all. And I thought, I choose life, sir. I was so grateful that there was nothing immediately dangerous to me on the other side of that door that it took me a while to process how weird that whole situation was. After a few minutes of going back and forth, I finally convinced him that I was not going to take any of his prizes home with me. I told him the woman that had picked me up and what she said. I don't need anything, but thank you anyway. He walked me to my car, and as I'm opening the door, he said, maybe sometime I could take you to a movie. Suddenly, that man standing in front of me didn't seem scary anymore. It was the first moment I had made space for all the hints of loneliness he had been dropping. I remember a couple of weeks after that thinking, maybe I should go back to his house and check on him, let him know someone cares. Like, that would be what I would want someone to do for my dad. But I didn't. I thought maybe that was the kindness I should have showed a stranger that day instead of checking an obligatory box that I promised a different stranger I'd check. Today, Gloria is a little disappointed that back then Gloria didn't make a different choice. Today, Gloria is also a lot like that old man. I too don't have a spouse, though for different reasons. My kids live states away and I don't see them enough, but to be fair, there's never enough with them. I also know what it's like to feel loneliness and the pain of craving a connection I've yet to find. And I know, like I'm sure that lovely man did way back then, how good just a little bit of kindness feels. Thank you.